This 26 Sports and CCTV high school basketball presentation is brought to you by Munson Healthcare Cadillac Rehab Services.
And welcome back to Cadillac High School. Jay Simon alongside Kevin Gregory. Cadillac Vikings have finished off a 57-32 victory over the visiting Alpena Wildcats, who will make the trek home. Be there by about 11:30. It's just terrible.
Oh, Lord be with him on their trip.
Absolutely.
Good night. That's terrible.
It absolutely is. Fan appreciation night here in Cadillac, and the fans certainly appreciating the efforts of their Vikings, as the win sends them to 8-6 overall and 5-2 in league play. Just a game behind Petoskey and Traverse City West in the loss column. And the advantage for the Vikings is that they get both of those teams in their last 3 Big North contests.
Yeah, they got a shot.
They got to run. TC Central, go to Petoskey and TC West. All 3 on the road, which makes that a tough order. But to an extent, they kind of control their own destiny. They run the table, and they share the Big North title.
That's what you're looking for, and if you would have told me that at the beginning of the year when they were going through their little rough patch there, I wouldn't have guessed it. So I just got to credit Coach Benzenberg for turning it around, and he's putting his pieces together and kind of seeing what kind of puzzle he's going to make this year, and they're embracing their roles, and they're just playing great right now. Hats off to them.
The Wildcats, meanwhile, will fall to 6-8 and to 3-4 in conference play. And with that 4th loss, likely need to start setting their sights on preparing themselves for the postseason. They've got a non-conference contest with Sheboygan coming up before they head to Petoskey and Ogama Heights. And they've also got a non-conference game left against Midland Dow on February 21st. So they got some tests coming up. And we talked about it. Coach Pintar, been there for 17 years, veteran coach. He's got a young team. He starts 4 sophomores. We'll all see significant minutes. Just 2 seniors on the roster. One starts and the other comes off the bench. And so there's not a great deal of varsity level experience on that team, and it's been a little bit of a baptism by fire. And you can kind of see where that lack of experience, maybe when something new or different gets thrown at you, they struggle. And they struggled a little bit tonight against the defensive pressure of the Vikings, which is nothing to hang your head about because a lot of teams struggle against the defensive pressure of the Vikings.
Yeah, I felt like they had a great game plan coming in. They saw something on the tape, because I haven't seen a team do this yet, is they immediately just doubled the post every single time it went to the block, and they had great success with that early. But with the 4 sophomores, the sustainability wasn't there. When Cadillac made their run, I kind of felt like they, I don't want to use the word crumbled a little bit, but they were definitely back on their heels. And Cadillac keying on their scorers of DeRocher and DeCare, they really did a nice job on them tonight. And sometimes when that happens, hey, next year, year after, they I'm sure they'll be able to adjust to that a little quicker than they did tonight.
Crowd milling about here post-game, enjoying the atmosphere on a Friday night. Run down the scoring for you in this one. For the Wildcats, they were led by Aiden Goike, the sophomore, who finishes with 10 points, had a couple of threes in the game, had a couple of blow-bys and layups. And you talked about him in that second half, Kevin. He's got some game. That sophomore is quick, and he can definitely shoot. And it's going to be the team's in good hands with him at the point.
Well, I always say you got to have a good point guard for any kind of run, because you got to have a guy that can handle the pressure, that can make a play and break a defense down when he has to, and there's no shot clock, so not when the shot clock's running down. But when things are breaking down offensively, you want to have that guy that can just make something happen, and I can see he's going to be that guy for Alpena. Now, I do want to mention for Cadillac, though, hats off to Tip Baker tonight. 3 fouls early in the third quarter. Coach Benzenberg opted to rest Keegan, leave Tip in the game. I think he finished with 3 fouls, and he hit a couple of big threes during that stretch to really extend that lead for Cadillac. So he did a great job tonight. So both teams with young point guards, future's looking bright.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a fantastic point. Clayton McCarthy had also picked up his 3rd, and he finished out there until the late substitution. So great job by McCarthy as well, the senior. There's a little more senior leadership, if you will, on the Vikings side with McCarthy there, but the predominant, most of their scoring coming from juniors and a freshman as well. So both of these teams set up well for the future. Chris DeRocher, who torched the Vikings for 25, held to just 9 in this one. Cameron DeCare finishes with 5. Bruz Copping finishes with 3. Logan Pinger with 2. Logan Guthrie with 2. And Trevor Rosnowski with a point to round out the scoring for the Wildcats, who go 5 of 10 from the free throw line tonight. Meanwhile, Cooper Benson paces the Vikings with a game-high 15 points, but they get 3 in double digits as Vinny Genema finishes with 12 and Clayton McCarthy finishes with 10. The Pogo Stick brothers putting up 22 combined on the interior. They probably had equal to that or more in rebounds as well. Tip Baker finishes with 8. Keegan Brooks with 6 points, but he probably had a dozen dimes on the night as he was slinging them around and finding open people. Hunter Rensbury, Cale Mickelson, and Jacob Kahani all finishing with a bucket apiece.
Wait, if you're going to say Hunter Rensbury finished with a bucket, you got to say what it was. Hunter Rensbury finished with the nightcap. The nightcap.
Switching hands and laying it up with the left. A nice finish for Hunter Rensbury and a nice finish to this game. The Vikings going 6 of 8 from the line tonight. Neither team really going to the line a whole lot. Fairly cleanly played game, but a good one if you're a Cadillac fan. Want to make sure we thank, again, Munson Healthcare Cadillac Rehab Services for their support of these broadcasts here on 26 Sports and CCTV, as well as Pizza Plus, High Point Cadillac GMC, and Cadillac Tire. Couldn't do it without them. And you know who else we couldn't do this without? The hardest working crew in television. Rain Johnson Hill, Kaylee Buck, and Jake Owens, all on camera, bringing you these images in high definition. They do a fantastic job. They're just getting better every game. They get a little better. They learn little new tricks, and they do a great job on the cameras. And then Dakota Pike. Who'd have thought, Kevin, when we first started doing this for television, that little Dakota Pike would someday be running the crew, running the show from the truck, putting all these images together.
He's just handling his business, and the rest of the crew really picking up the slack for Rain. So job well done, everybody.
Poor Rain. That's going to do it for us. Again, thanks for joining us. Make sure you catch the replays over the weekend, and we will be back next Tuesday night as the Cadillac Vikings play host to the McBain Ramblers in girls non-conference basketball action. For Kevin Gregory, I'm Jay Simon. Thanks for being here, folks. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.